Snacking is the worst thing for your health. Want to switch from sugar burning to fat burning? Let's dive into fasting basics right now.
You know, what if one of the most powerful tools for your health wasn't something you had to buy, but something you just stopped doing? Today, we're going to demystify intermittent fasting. So if you've been curious, but it all felt a little overwhelming, trust me, this is the simple, practical guide you've been waiting for. All right, let's kick things off with a pretty bold claim from our source, Dr. Eric Berg. He believes that fasting is the single most important thing you can do for your health. That's a powerful statement, right? So let's dive in and really unpack the science and the simple steps to see what he's talking about.
So, what's the core idea here? Well, it's all about switching your body's main fuel source. Think of the sugar-burning side as a non-stop roller coaster. You get these quick bursts of energy, sure, but then come the constant hunger, the cravings, and that awful afternoon energy crash. The whole goal is to get off that ride and move over to the fat-burning lane, where you're running on this clean, steady fuel, your own stored fat, which leads to no appetite, consistent energy, and amazing mental clarity.
And here's our roadmap to get you there. First, we'll cover the big idea, then your first practical steps. After that, we'll design your day, talk about the mistakes that can stop your progress, and wrap it all up with the right mindset to make this last for life. First up, the big shift. Before we get into any of the how-to stuff, it is absolutely crucial that you understand what's actually happening inside your body when you fast. Okay, so a lot of people hear fasting and they immediately think starvation, right? But that's a huge misconception. Your body is still being fed, but instead of getting energy from the food on your plate, it's finally tapping into the energy it's saved for a rainy day, your own body fat. It's not an empty pantry, it's more like you're finally using the food you've had in the deep freezer all along. So how do you know you've actually made the switch? It's incredibly simple. The clearest number one sign that your body is burning its own fat is that your constant hunger just vanishes. That is the real victory. It's not about willpower anymore, it's about your body finally being properly fueled. You are back in control.
All right, so you get the why. Now for the fun part. Let's get into the how. Here are the first practical steps you can take, literally starting tomorrow morning.
Now, the key here is not to jump into a 24-hour fast right away. Don't do that. Just ease into it. Start by pushing your breakfast just a little bit later each day. And really learn to listen to your body. Only eat when you're actually hungry, not just because the clock says it's mealtime. A critical tip, keep your dinner low carb. That's the secret that makes the next morning so much easier. And you'll learn that most of those little hunger pangs, they're just temporary waves that pass if you give them a minute.
And here are a few little tricks to make that morning fast practically effortless. Like I said, a low-carb dinner is your best weapon against morning hunger. Then in the morning, you can add a pure fat like MCT oil to your coffee. It gives you energy, but it doesn't trigger an insulin response. And get this, a lot of people feel this wave of false hunger around 8 a.m. That's just a natural spike in the hormone cortisol. It's not your stomach talking, it's just a hormone.
Okay, so once you're comfortable pushing that first meal later and later, you can move to the next level, creating a structured eating window.
A really popular and super effective goal is what's called the 18-6 method. It just means you fast for 18 hours, and then you have a 6-hour window where you eat. So for example, you might finish dinner at 6 p.m., fast overnight and through the morning, and then have your first meal at noon the next day. It creates this simple, powerful rhythm for your body.
So why do we even care about that 18-hour mark? Well, this is where the magic really starts to happen. This is when your body goes into this deep cleaning mode. You see incredible benefits like lower inflammation and a stronger immune system. And what's really fascinating is the impact on your brain. Fasting can actually help you grow new brain cells, which leads to better focus, memory, and even an elevated mood. This is where real rejuvenation begins.
Here's a great pro tip for you. Add some healthy fats, think avocado, a handful of nuts, things like that, at the end of your meals. See, fat is the slowest thing to digest, so it sends this powerful signal to your brain that you're full, which dramatically increases how satisfied you feel and helps you just cruise through your fast without any trouble. Now, to really pour some fuel on the fire, what you do inside your eating window matters a lot. A splash of apple cider vinegar in your water can actually improve how your body handles insulin. A simple trick is to eat your salad or your vegetables before your protein. You're just more likely to get all those crucial minerals in. And sipping on green tea can give you an extra boost against insulin resistance.
Okay, so you've started, you're making progress, but sometimes people hit a wall. Let's cover the most common mistakes so you can sidestep them completely.
This is the big one, right? The question everyone has. What happens when that urge to snack hits you between meals? Well, it's a critical moment, and how you handle it can literally make or break your progress. Let me be super clear about this. Snacking is often the #1 progress killer. Why? Because almost everything you eat stimulates insulin, and insulin is the hormone that tells your body to store fat, not burn it. Even so-called healthy protein snacks will cause an insulin spike and shut down fat burning. The only real exceptions are pure fats or pure fiber. This is one of the biggest reasons people's progress just stalls out.
And it's not just food, you guys. Check this out. The impact of alcohol is kind of crazy. Just half a glass of wine can be enough to stop fat burning for an entire day. You have a couple of drinks on a Friday night, and you might not get back into fat burning mode until Monday. This is critical. It's not about the calories. It's about the powerful hormonal signal it sends to your body to just stop burning fat.
And here's another sneaky pitfall, especially for people who work out. When you exercise in a fasted state, it triggers this powerful release of awesome hormones like growth hormone. But if you immediately chug a sugary sports drink or even a protein shake right after, you can completely shut down that amazing hormonal benefit. The takeaway? Just wait until your main meal to refuel. So, we've covered the science and the strategy. But honestly, none of it matters without this final piece, the mindset. This is what turns a 2-week diet into a lifelong change.
It is so important to see this as a long-term solution, not a quick fix. Think about it. It probably took years for your body to become resistant to insulin. You can't just undo all of that in 2 weeks. It's like trying to turn a giant ship. It takes slow, consistent effort to change direction. You have to be patient with your body.
And this brings us to a really provocative idea, something that goes against pretty much everything we're usually told. We hear it constantly. Everything in moderation. But what if that's actually the worst advice you could possibly follow? And here's the logic. If your boat has a huge hole in it, you don't balance your time between bailing water out and polishing the deck, right? No! You put all your focus on fixing the massive hole. To get healthy and reverse insulin resistance, you need an unbalanced focus on the 2 things that matter most: creating those fasting periods and avoiding the foods that spike your insulin.
When you boil it all down, intermittent fasting isn't about restriction. It's about freedom. It's a tool to put you back in the driver's seat, breaking the chains of constant hunger and cravings. So the only question left is, are you ready to take the wheel?
Fasting is a lifelong journey to health, not a quick fix. Thanks for watching. Subscribe now to master your insulin and transform your life.